Thanks, grace of heaven, virtuous masters, grand predecessors, transmitters, lecturers, and everyone here to give me this opportunity to learn to speak on today's topic, the answer to the truth. I think my class is over.
You can repeat everything again.
No, because lecture time was cover
Next
everything.
time you should do it before he does it.
Well, yeah, I'm not good at words, so just bear with me. Yeah. So, answer to the truth is, like most people, before they receiving Tao, they don't really understand what is Tao.
Yes. Access to the Truth is a book. It's a book that is in the temple. We used to have many copies,
Oh, really?
but now we have no copies.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah, and many people think, even after they receive Tao, and they think this Tao is like a religion. My neighbor who have received Tao over 10 years, and she keep on saying it's a religion. So, yeah, and
Yeah, show everybody the book. This is the book.
so I think Tao Te Ching say it, most clearly. Tao is that the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The name is the mother of myriad things. Thus, constantly without desire, one observes its essence. Constantly with desire, one observes its manifestations. The two merge together but different in names. The unity is said to be the mystery of mysteries, the door to all wonders. So, like Lecture Tai said, Tao is something that we have to feel with ourselves, and because it has no forms, and yet all forms come from the Tao. And when we calm our heart and mind, we can be aware of our true self, the Tao. When when our mind is not still, then what we see is the forms. So when we talk about Tao, it has no forms, and yet all forms come from the Tao. So it's like two sides of the same coins. So Tao can be a void, and yet it can create everything in the cosmos. So Tao is everywhere and nowhere. Tao is like it's like a giant wheel in this cosmos, where month follows the days, winter follows the springs, birth follows with growth, age, and death. Without doubt, the giant wheels will cease to function and result in ending of all lives. Okay. So this the origin of Tao. Tao is absolute truth. Exists before heaven and earth. Before we have all forms, all the galaxies, it was already exist, and it can never be created or destroyed. That's why it's everlasting. Okay, it is origin of heaven and earth, mankind, substance, all matters, basically all phenomena in the cosmos. Tao is the core of all virtues, the manifestation of Tao, and it encompasses both the essence and the manifestation. Like earlier, what Lecture Tai said. Okay, so we have our true self, and when we manifest, each of us has innate virtues, benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and faith. So when we follow with our true self, that this virtue will naturally manifest. Okay, so. So the essence of Tao, the essence of all phenomena is called the Tao, like we said before. And the essence of all substance is called the truth. The truth is the essence of all reasoning. The truth is the manifestation of Tao. And the essence of mankind is called the true self, the Buddha nature or true nature. Our innate virtues and conscience are the manifestation of the true self. So human cannot live without Tao. Tao is our true self. Without Tao, we cannot hear, cannot see, cannot touch, cannot feel, cannot move. So that is the main difference between a live person and a corpse, right? And yet, humans tend to deny that true self, and or the things that they cannot see. We have to know that what we see with our eyes is very limited. When we are too dependent on the five skandhas, our eyes, nose, ears, mouth, sense, we tend to lose the sight of the true self, our Buddha nature. This is why humans are lost. So when everyone follow this Tao, our soul will be restored to our original state, the true self. And when we say and it will, like Lecture Tai say, we will be saved from all the calamities and sufferings, because if we follow our true self, then we will not commit more sinful acts, and we probably will do more of the virtuous acts, and this way it will also cancel out our past karmas, and so it will also change our fate and all the calamities. Yeah. So, okay. And then Confucius said that people who recognize Tao become saints, and one who does not know Tao loses himself and risks the annihilations of his soul. So we cannot discover Tao from the books. There's no words that can truly describe Tao, because Tao is very mysterious. It creates everything in the cosmos, and it must be conveyed by the enlightened masters with heaven's decrees, regardless how much one reads or how intelligent one is, because, like I said earlier, that what human minds can understand is very limited. So unless we are enlightened or clear our minds and be at one with our true self, seize the moment, then we can understand a little bit of what is Tao is, right? Okay, so the symbol of this circle is reluctantly used to represent Tao. It's the motionless state of one. And Confucius used one as to describe the function of Tao, the manifestation of Tao. So one, this E, right, is active state of the
Circle.
The circle, the void. So Tao creates the universe and gives life to the infinite spiritual energies. In the book of Chains, I Ching, called the endless regeneration Tai Chi, the chains of Tai Chi, which describes as yin yang. Later we're gonna go into that. Okay, and the symbols of different religions. Okay. So different religions give different signs, but it all means the same. Buddhists give this I don't know what's this sign called. It's kind of like a cross. And then Taoism, Confucianism gives like yin yang signs, and Christianity gets like the cross signs, but it all means the same. So in the beginning there was a voice, and then it can expand and contract into a dot, and then it can also, have an infinite creativities into a line, and then come to all the changes. When the yin and yang interact, there will a lot of changes, and where all the forms manifest. So yeah, and then I think God conferred the 生气, the spirits of growth to a plant. So plant doesn't really have a awareness or a wisdom, a mind to think, but they have a spirit of growth. So you can see a plant, when we water the plant, it can grow. And then God bestowed the 魂气 and 生气 to animals, because so animals has both awareness and the growth, but they don't have the wisdoms. So that's why the difference between animals and humans. And then for humans, we all have this the soul, the Buddha natures, and then the spirits of awareness and 生气, right? So that's why humans rules on earth, because we all has the attributes of God give us. We are children of God, and and then we are the highest beings on earth, that we have this God's wisdom to rule the earth. Yeah. Yeah. So wait. Okay. So even though these has a different forms, different animals, plants, and humans, but we have to know that all this came from the same source, which is the Tao, God. Yet every being has a different natures. Each living entity is unique. Of all the living things on earth, humans, has the highest. What do you call? Has all the attributes of God. Okay, yeah. So in the doctrine of means stated that Tao cannot be deviated from momentarily. If it can be deviated from, then it's not the true Tao, because no. So men have to live according to the Tao, such as like if a train must run on the rail, a ship must sail on the course, airplane must fly along with their designated routes. So if they don't, then calamities will occur. The airplane might running together, and then imagine the train will run off the train track. So yeah, and a lot of humans don't understand that there is the spiritual realms, and they tend to think that they can do whatever they want, and they don't really have to pay for any retributions for it. So that's why they create a lot of karmas, and then their life is full of sufferings. Yeah.
Our life.
Yeah, our lives. Yeah.
Another way to interpret this is, or to understand it, is that if we, what it means is that, it's not true. It just means that if we don't do things in accordance with, we say, the Tao or Buddha nature, so then we will create karma, and that will result in consequence, i.e. suffering. So if we, whereas, so that's what ordinary humans are, right? Because we think, oh, either we don't think that, oh, we're going to suffer consequences, so we'll do whatever we are. So it doesn't mean that we don't survive. I mean, we don't live. We're still living. I mean, still alive. But you will suffer consequences because then we have deviated from the way. You know what I'm saying? Or from our true nature. So example would be like, truly, if you want to see, to have the harmony, great harmony in this world, right? Is we have to act accordingly or be in accordance with the Tao. You get it? So because that way, then you don't create any more additional karma, understand, or consequences. You understand? So that's what's meant by that. It means it doesn't say that. Oh, if you deviate from that, you're gonna die. No, that doesn't mean that. Okay. All right.
Okay. And then I think Lecture Thai has covered this. I don't know, it's last week or a week before. Objective of Tao. Basically, the Tao is to spread the absolute truth. Get in touch with our true self. We respect all saints, Buddhas, immortals, angels, and deities. Follow the law of land, the nature. Restore our innate virtues. Be filial to our parents and honor teachers. Be trustworthy. Be harmonious with our neighbors, and get rid of our bad habits and temperaments. Basically, overall, for me, to see it, it's just love. It's the selfless love to deal with everything in life, and so slowly I can kind of understand like how important these things is. Just like it snowed a lot this year. And I kind of have a pretty good relationship with my neighbors, so my cross street neighbors constantly will, don't want me to shovel if it's like over 5 inch. She will like make her husband come out and shovel for me. And then my back of the house, I have a sidewalk, and then so I have a new neighbor move in, and last time without letting me know, he shoveled my back. And then last time when there was like heavy snow, my other neighbor shoveled my back too. So I'm very grateful. So, yeah.
Maybe you did good things for them last life.
I don't know.
It was automatic for them to help you.
I think my older neighbors, I don't know, maybe the influence of my new neighbors, and he started shoveling my back too. So I was very grateful. Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah. And then, Confucius used the five constants, 5 virtues to represent the virtue of Tao. I did a little bit opposite than Lecture Thai's, because in the old days the map is the exact opposite. And then I think Transmitted Dean said that heaven sees from heaven's view looking down, as everything is the opposite. So that's why I did everything the opposite of Lecture Thai's. The sign, the yin yang sign, I'm gonna go into it later on. Okay, but I'm just gonna put it there for now.
How is yang and yang, not yin and yang?
Yan yang. Well, you kind of see a little bit what's going on later.
Oh,
And then
Phone is already kind of
change.
when it reaches
Change to yin. Yeah, it's the height. The highest.
already past.
the height, the peak of
Yeah, the
the
peak of the
yan,
You call it
and then it start having a
decline,
yan.
Yeah.
What?
Yin is gonna grow. Start
Actually,
growing.
this one should be a yan yin. I kind of
Yeah, it's not yang yang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yin,
It's yan yin here.
And then, the opposite of yang yang. Yeah.
Yeah. So benevolent is like creating and cultivating the universe, so that to perpetual extension of life, and justice is to provide the environments of all beings are given opportunity to live in abundance. Proprieties is governing the universe, so the yin and yang are differentiated, and everything is properly ordered, just like male and female, day and nights, old and young. Wisdom is having the cosmos in a state of perfect balance and harmony, and faith is still represent the still energy of Tao, the truth and perfections. So among all these four virtues is like the four limbs of our body. So and then the faith is resembles the head
Does.
and is the core of all of the five virtues. So without the faith, we cannot truly be benevolence, proprieties, or justice, wisdom. We have to have the inner faith from ourselves. And this kind of it represent the benevolent represent the beginning, and the beginning is the east. And I don't have any room to put it in. It also represent the spring, a word in the five elements, and then propriety it's like the summer, and it's the fire in the five elements, and justice is west, autumn in the season, mellow in the five elements, and then wisdom is the winter, and water from the five elements. The faith is the earth, the center, in the center. Okay. Okay.
Hey, so shouldn't the diagram for the yang yang, the blue should be on the bottom, on the west, on the east side? Isn't it? Because you always count from the bottom up, right? Isn't that how that works? For the 8 trigram?
Yeah, well, some you can see the 8 trigram, they do it this way, but later you're gonna see that I do it this way.
She has to be special.
I don't know.
But what I'm saying is those images should be reversed.
Yeah.
Doesn't-
Okay. Okay, and then Tao in religions, Taoism called this Tao the origins, and then they practice the non-motivational actions, do stuff without motives, wu wei. Lao Tzu says a man must return to his roots in order to restore the true life, return to the truth. Buddhism calls this Tao the origin Buddha, and they practice compassions, yeah. And then Buddha says everyone has a bodhi, the seeds of becoming enlightened, because we all have that Buddha nature, and our souls came from heaven. Confucianism causes origin heaven or God, and they practice the humanity or reciprocity. Confucius said that mankind must serve God or the heavens. It's just means we had to follow our Buddha natures, our inner virtue. And Christianity calls it God, Father, Jehovah, and they practice brotherhoods. Do to others what you want to do to yourself. And Jehovah says that everyone is the son of God. We are all children of God. And then Islam calls this Tao, Allah, and they practice righteousness. So all these religions, they practice a different aspect of Tao, but they kind of lost the essence. Because I have a lot of Jehovah people come to my house, and then they try to bring me to their church, once in a while. And then they really don't understand the what we're talking about. They don't believe the true self inside, and they think that Jesus and man are like two different levels, and what Tao is like everybody has this true nature. We are all equals. God see us as the same as them. We all oneness, right? Okay. So yeah, this is my diagram. So in the like what the Tao Te Ching said in the beginning. So in the beginning, there's the absolute heaven, and there's a void, and then there's it gives rise to this yin yang, and the yin yang gives two primary force, yang and yin, and then it gives to four image, which is O yang, yang yin, O. Okay, O yang and O yin. So, and then it will also generate the 8 triagram. The 8 triagram is like all the phenomena in the cosmos. First, they create heaven and earth, and then everything in within. So another way of naming it is like there's a father and a mother, and then they give birth to 3 daughters and 3 sons. So everything in the mountain. So it's like, yeah.
Which is the daughter, which is the son.
So okay, let's see. This is like this is the oldest daughter, and this is the middle daughter, and this is the youngest daughter, and this is the oldest son, middle son, and then youngest son.
Oh, how do you know that?
I kind of know.
So the males have, and the females. So that means the males are the ones with two yin, whereas the females are the ones with the
It's
yang.
like
It's
they
pretty
say like
interesting.
male has a more yin, and then
Yeah, it's pretty
females has a
interesting.
more
Supposed to be
yang.
the opposite.
No.
No.
Because this is he's looking at the pre-heaven.
Oh, because they always say female represents yin
I agree.
and male
I agree.
represents yang.
So how you figure out these to draw is like these yang
You do
creates
combination.
okay, this yang, right? It creates like the blind right here, and then each yang has a yin yang, like, and then there's a yin right here. So this yin creates this yin right here, right? And then each subdivision, it has a yang and a yin. Okay, so this is just kind of describes that everything on in the cosmos is not black and white. Some female has a yang energy too. It's not just all in.
Right.
Because if you have all in, then you'll be like a ghost.
Yeah.
And if you're all yang, then you'll be like Buddhas.
Well,
So everything is not
Eva.
just black and white. And it's also, I think like for me, is like also kind of understand that nothing in life
relative,
is black and white, and
Yeah.
don't look at everything one way.
Right, it's not extreme. Don't
Yeah.
go to the extreme views.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else. Okay. So when you look at the what is this triagram, right? There is pre-heaven and post-heaven, and they always talk about post-heaven, and they don't really talk about pre-heaven because they use post-heaven for what is it? To like they throw stuff, and then you can find like what happened to your future, like kind of like a fortune-telling thing, or feng shui, and then or how everything in this world works, all the situated mountains and everything. Well, Book of Chains is kind of hard to understand.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just learn. I kind of learned a little bit. So this pre-heaven is by great Saint Fu Xi. He observed the natural phenomena of heaven and earth, and which is this. He saw that heaven and earth dominates the top and bottom. No, this is like an axis, and then where the sun and moon revolves around the axis from east to west, and then everything follows accordingly. Thunder and winds in between. So this is the eight the 8 trigrams of pre-heaven. This is the creations. The creation of the universe is based on the spiritual energies. It shows the order of mutual stimulation among the 5 element. Like, what is it? Wood, water, gold, earth, and metal, right? Okay.
We're missing something.
Wood.
Oh.
Yeah,
I said
wood.
fire already.
Yeah.
And then that's like the growth aspect of the law of nature, the essence of the 8 trigrams. So this is kind of talk about the origins, and then there is the post heaven, after heaven is that is kind of created by the Saint King Wen Wan, right? He observed all the changes in the nature's phenomena were based on the yin yang, the interchange of the yin yang. So when the interchange of yin yang, everything, all the phenomena change, and then all the forms created from the yin yang. Okay, he saw that as human minds progress and the spiritual force changed, the society became more complicated. He called the 8 trigram as post heavens. The order is based on the so this, instead of like heaven and earth, Qian and Kun. So over here, post heaven, this become Li, the fire and water. So
Who did the post heaven?
King Wen Wan. Yeah. Yeah. So okay.
Does the Qian and Kun also represent Qian Dao, Kun Dao?
Yeah, that
Father,
too.
father, mother,
Or
who
male,
give
female.
Male,
father and mother and give birth to everything in between. Okay.
So then the fire represents also the fire. The Li also represent Qian Dao.
No.
No, that's
Doesn't
not.
work like that.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated.
I know it is. It's very complicated.
Okay,
I'm
so
surprised you understand it.
I don't know.
That's wonderful.
So he saw that human minds progress, and the spiritual force changed, and the society become more complicated. And he called this trigram as post heaven. The order based on the on water and fire, and it is mutually suppressed among the 5 elements. So right here is mutually progress, and this is suppressed, and then it shows the cultivation of the world based on the matters, the forms, and substituting the Qian Kun, this Qian Kun with Li and Kan, right? So this post heaven is symbolize all the change of the phenomena in the cosmos, and then it's the manifestation of the 8 trigrams, right here. So book of chains is kind of hard to understand. this is how much I can understand. Okay, and then so wait, okay. So there is like, I think lecture Kai talk about there's like different level of heavens, right? There's many level of heavens. The Buddhism separate the heaven into like 3 regions: desires, form, and formless. And then within that, each level there's like sub levels, right? So 53 levels up to the Buddha, right?
Well, 50, well, no, well, there are 10 levels, they say 10 states, 10 levels, and then, well, within celestial heaven, there's like 28, I think, 28. The physical world has 5, so that's 33 between the 2. And then absolute heaven is really 1. So.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels. And then Taoism separates heavens into 7 levels, which corresponds to the 7 level of their cultivations. And in Tao Te Ching, it says the void give rise to one, one give rise to two, two give rise to everything in the cosmos. So in the Book of Change, it also says that there's like 3 level of heaven, which is like absolute heaven, Wuji, and then there's like celestial heavens, Taiji, spiritual realms, and then heaven of matters, like this physical world, right? And yeah. So I guess you can call it like Dhamma for the absolute heaven, the true realities, or Dhammakaya. And then in this level is dimensionless, and it's because it doesn't have a form, so it's everlasting. It doesn't change. And then in this celestial heavens, it kind of has a form. It's like a cheese in our body. Whereas the absolute heaven is our Buddha natures, and then physical world is the this body, our body, the forms. So there is many dimensions. So some people might ask, like, where is the heavens? Actually, heaven is right in front of you if you still calm our heart and minds. There is, I think, like they were saying, like the scientists can prove that there was like 11 dimensions on the space that we live in. Just like ants, they only see 2 dimensions. They cannot see humans. Like,
Oh, really?
yes. So if we walk around them, they don't see us, right? So ants.
How did you know that?
I heard it. Yeah, I also talked to Transmitter Jing the other time, and he said, yeah.
How come they don't see 3 dimensions?
So there's many dimensions. So ants cannot see 3 dimensions, and so for that, reasoning, I feel like because there's so many dimensions, so we can live in the same dimensions, and then we do not see the other dimensions, and then maybe the Buddhas always can see us, And then I also last week I talked to Transmitter Zing, and I say, so we are all part of God. So God is inside of us. And we live in this whole universe, and God created this universe, and God is everywhere. So we are also inside of God. And he said, yeah. So, okay. So it's I mean, it kind of knows that God is not far away. Okay. Yeah. So, and then I think this is the last slide, and just so you know that because everything has a form, just even like celestial heaven, it also have a even though we cannot touch it, it's not tangible, but it still has our feelings, our conscious, our chi, that is like all kind of belong to like celestial heaven. So everything that has the form, it will never last. So in this, this is just shows that everything has its timing, and then in life on Earth, right, or in this cosmos has like a cycle, and then a cycle means yuan, right, and then one cycle. This whole thing is about 129,000, right? Is it 600 years? Okay.
120,000, yeah.
Yeah.
So a generation should equal 30 years.
Yeah.
30 times 12 is
Yeah,
360.
it's not 336, it's 30.
What happened?
We left the last slide, yeah.
What was it?
I launched it.
Okay.
Yeah, generations, the way they calculate it is 30 years.
Oh, 30 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
That's average.
each of this phrase is like a 10,800 years, right? So this in the zi cycle, that's what all the heavens is created, and then in the Chou cycle, that's what the earth is created, and then Yin is what the man is created, and during this time, there is about 7 Buddhas governing this phrase, and then this is like progression phrase. However, when you reach the peak of the yan, everything goes downwards. So we are around in this cycle right now.
Yeah. We're
Right.
at the end of Wu, supposedly close to the end of Wu.
Okay.
Right, Ty? We're at the end
Yeah,
of Wu.
we're starting the wave.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are kind of in this cycle right now, and where peak of all the humanity, civilizations, and climax of scientific technologies. But when the humans get so attached to the technologies forms, then we kind of lose our true self. We're not in touch with our true self. So if you go on a subway, you see everybody's texting. I think there's a Chinese word, Mandarin is called 低头族,
Dito.
right? So they kind of chase after technologies instead of our Buddha nature. What our Buddha nature is more. I think with all these technologies, it's like much, I don't know, now compared to our Buddha nature. So, and then so in the Sun,
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Limited.
it's
So we
very
become further
limited, I guess. So like they I think like people think like okay, with technology they can just one touch and then they can order something or they can do a lot of
Yeah,
stuff. But
convenient.
with our Buddha nature, I think if you are enlightened, you can, it's much more powerful.
course.
You can be anywhere just by one thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And then in this Seng Hui, right, there's men where the men's all destroyed, and then Yo is where the earth is destroyed and heaven is destroyed on the Xu face, right? And then the Hai is where heaven and earth merge together and become indistinguishable. Then you had to wait for another 10,800 years for another cycle to begin. That's why I think like Saint Buddha say after we receive that we can return to heaven for 10,800 years. So if we don't cultivate, right, so we can only stay up there for 10,800 years, and then in the next cycle we have to come back down again.
Right.
So anybody want to come back down?
No, that's only if you don't cultivate, even though you receive the Tao.
Yeah,
Yeah. So those people who knows the 3 treasures but don't do anything,
yeah,
at most they only stay up in heaven for 10,800 years.
Yeah.
Roughly.
yeah,
That's what they say.
yeah. So
That's still a long time.
well,
No,
10,800 years.
Human years.
Human years.
But in there, it could be only maybe 300 years.
or maybe you just take a nap and then come down.
That's a long nap.
Well, in human years.
Yeah, so that's why even like celestial heavens will also be destroyed too, not along with the physical or the phenomena on the cosmos, where even the stars, I think will also crumble together too. So it's like a melting pot. You cannot distinguish between heaven and earth, mountains, rivers, everything just crumble all together. Yeah. So this is kind of what I have for this answer to the truth 1 and 2.
Good job.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah. So if I have say anything wrong, I ask our saints and Buddhas and everyone's correction, and then 2 lecture Jean's correction. Just don't beat me up.
So, do we have any questions for Keri? Any questions, any comments?
You guys can read it. There was a nice book that was written by this English author, probably in the 1800s. His name's Abbott, I think. He
What?
wrote the book called Flatland.
Oh.
If you want to understand the dimensions, because he's talking about a 2-dimensional world, and say how these people in this inhabitants of this 2-dimensional
Right.
world, they were seeing some phenomenon that was kind of unusual,
Right.
and it happened to be those were from 3-dimensional world passing through their world. And so it's the same thing. You can kind of apply that to higher dimensions. So like in 3 dimensions and the higher dimensions, we don't see them normally, but maybe
Right.
they can appear.
Yep.
And so there's certain phenomena that we
That
see,
we can't, yeah.
whether we see
Can't
UFOs or
explain.
whatever,
Yeah.
they could be
Well,
higher dimensional, that they appear in this world and then they disappear.
Spirits.
Okay, so those are, but it's a very nice story. You can read it. It's short. It's a nice book to read to kind of understand.
Flatland.
So,
I don't know if they made it.
I forgot to
Yeah,
mention,
I think I heard of
in a
it.
celestial heaven, it's like more than 3 dimension. That's why I think with the people with the yin yang eyes, they can see on Earth because we all coexist,
Yeah,
like
the time
different
and space-
dimensionals.
space is
It's the same
it's the same
space,
space, but
but
they're
different
higher
dimensions.
Yeah.
You can say like different.
Yeah.
They can see us,
Yeah.
right?
It's like you
Yeah.
walk into the door and then you went to another world.
Well, yeah, usually it's the highest dimension. Okay, let's say the realm of the Buddhas, the Dharma Dhatu, right? You say that absolute.
That
They
encompasses
see everything
everything.
because
That
they
encompasses all
encompass
of
everything. Okay, they can see everything because when we say they can see, it means that because they're everywhere.
They're aware,
They're
they know,
everywhere.
yeah.
They're everywhere. That's what I'm saying. They feel that. Remember I said that 53rd level, right? The 53rd level where our original enlightenment is at one with that wonderful enlightenment or marvel. That means they fill up. They fill up the whole space. You can say the whole, whatever. The whole. That's Dharma Dhatu. That's absolute because it encompasses everything. Now in the celestial heavens, right? In those that there's the higher, there are different levels, sub-levels, what do you call it? So the highest celestial can see all the way down, but they can't see up, okay? They can see. So if you're at the bottom of the celestial heaven, you can't see above you. You can see below. So you can see the human realm, yes, the animal realm. You understand?
So it's kind of like going up the stair. So
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
enlightened,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
see everything.
Below, right? You can see.
So when
everything
you're
below.
over here, you only
can't
see
above,
what's
right,
below
right,
you.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah.
So do I get a point?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get 5 points.
That's another analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically, I think, with the Tao, it's you just have to calm your heart and minds and let your mind be still. Because I guess from my experience, so when I get mad, I kind of focus on the point instead of, then I don't get, I only focus the points and I don't see all the answers, So unless you calm your heart and minds, and then the universe, I think, will penetrate all the answers to you. It's the answer is right there. Because when you too attached to form, you kind of shut down to everything.
Right.
It's the spiritual realm. I think your Buddha nature can sense. But because you're too attached to all the forms and you have too much thoughts, which cloud is it's like a dark cloud over your head. You can't even see beyond that. So that's why, I think that Saint Buddha said we had to be with the nature. So when you're with the nature, you can calm your heart and mind, and then everything will be opened up. You will let go of your worries and all these mundane stuff. And then, so your mind and heart will be open. And then, I think they were saying that when everything is calm and still, even your pore is not shut down. So, every part of your body can, kind of sense that beyond the physical realm.